What's happening, everyone? This is William Craddock, Will to Win Gaming, and I am excited to bring you probably my favorite video I've done so far. Fundamentals, Volume 3, The Art of Deck Building. Let's go. To start us off, I'm gonna let you all know what prompted me to make this video. I'm on a lot of One Piece groups, I'm on the Reddit, and all I ever see is, hey, can someone give me a deck list for this leader? And while a lot of people respond to that, I'll see the same poster a week later and they'll be saying, I went 0-4 with this deck, I went 1-3 with this deck, can anyone help me? What happened? And then crickets. No one responds, no one says anything, myself included, but I've just been biding my time trying to articulate what I wanted to say, and here it goes. First off, let's define deck building. Deck building can be you're copying a list that won a top 8 tournament in Japan, you're copying a list your friend made, you're making your own deck out of what you have in your collection. Deck building can be any of these, but what's so exciting about One Piece, my personal belief is any deck can be tailored to an individual. When you have games like Magic the Gathering, sorry if you've never played it, you take a blue-white control deck, that is a blue-white control deck. But in One Piece, I could take a Smoker deck, or let's say a Kid deck, or recently a Kinemon deck, and I can make it aggro, like Zoro, or I can make it control, like Kid. And this is where a lot of people get lost. I believe they copy a deck list or make a deck list from what they have at home, and it just doesn't suit their personality. So I don't think it's all pilot error, I think it's more of deck building error, and we'll get to the specifics on how to correct that. All right, first off, we need to decide, are you a deck builder or are you a fine tuner? I generally consider myself a fine tuner, and also probably 95% of the player base falls in this category. A fine tuner is someone's gonna take a deck list and they're gonna swap around a few cards, play some tournaments, make a few more swaps, and generally make the deck better than it was before. A true deck builder is gonna be able to take something that has not yet been established and make a deck that works in the current metagame. There's not a lot of true deck builders in my opinion. It is mostly figured out by now. I think there might be room for it in One Piece, but with so few sets, I don't think it exists just yet. But maybe in 2 or 3 more sets, we're gonna find these true deck builders come out, and it's really a beautiful thing to watch. But yours truly, I'm a fine tuner, just like most of the other people out there. So we talked about building a deck that suits your personality. I believe this goes deeper than I like to play control, I like to play aggro. It really is kind of just a natural thing you pick up while playing card games. You need to kind of observe, did I do well with Zoro? Did I do well with Kid and OP1? Do I like Kaido? And I think while this isn't just necessary to win, overall it's going to increase your win percentage. And to me, this is step 1 of deck building, understanding yourself and understanding why you're compatible with the deck you want to build. Step 2 of deck building is deciding what is your focus of your deck. What is your target? Are you trying to win your locals? Are you trying to win your regionals? Are you trying to win nationals coming up next year? You just need to look at what you want to win, and that's why you should be building your deck. A lot of these people may take these deck lists that won a treasure cup, and that deck was good for that treasure cup, but when they copy the list, they take it to their locals and find out, hey, we're just trying to beat that one deck list from the treasure cup. They might go 0-4. That's not necessarily because of pilot error. It might just because they had a lot of bad matchups. So step 2 is understanding why you copied that list and why it didn't work whenever you tried to play it. Step 3 in deck building is understanding your tech choices. A tech choice or a silver bullet is a card that is good in specific matchups. It might raise your win rate in that certain matchup by 10-20%, but might flounder in other matchups, get stuck in your hand, or maybe lose you the game. I think a good example of this is the 10-drop Kaido. In the Kaido deck, this 10-drop blew out green decks left and right. They were trying to establish these big boards with expensive characters, and Kaido just ruined that game plan. On the other hand, sometimes against Zoro, you know, they played a bunch of rush characters that have already taken your life, or as soon as you play your 10-drop Kaido to destroy all the characters, you're already dead. They can just load up their leader and hit you for 15. So tech choices, while not necessary, are really good for specific metagames. But if you're going to go to a wide open metagame like a regional or a treasure cup, I suggest making a stock deck list, which is just a bunch of redundant 4-ofs, and therefore you don't have to worry about specific matchups. You just kind of make yourself good against the field in general. Step 4 in deck building, and this maybe should be step 0 because this is probably the most important step, understanding what your deck does. I know this seems simple, but I've seen a match recently where a player is playing Smoker, his opponent is playing Zoro, and the Smoker player early in the game started to attack the Zoro player's life total instead of controlling his board. Now this could be a lot of things. He could have had a game plan in mind. He could have been nervous on camera. But in the end, this is just a fundamental misunderstanding of what your deck is doing. I could see his list, or I could even, you know, think of his mindset at the time, but you're never going to race a Zoro with Smoker. You might be able to destroy a bunch of their characters, and they don't draw any rush characters. You can go faster than them. You know, you can make good attacks and get them low. But in general, you're not going to outpace the lowest to the ground aggro deck in the format. That's not what Smoker is designed to do. I don't even think Smoker has the cards to do that. So overall, step 4, understand what your deck is trying to do before you take it to a tournament, or even before that, before you put it together. Let's look at step 5 in deck building. As soon as you pick your leader, now we need to understand the matchups you're going to face. There's a lot of matchups right now. I think there's 6 or 7 tier 1 leaders, but I'll talk about one I know of specifically because I have a lot of experience in it. It'll be my aggressive Kainomon list. If you haven't checked out my video on the list, please do, versus Whitebeard. Now, I probably have 60, 70 reps in this matchup, and I found the path of victory is really twofold. The first one being put out a lot of 5K characters. There is a ton of them in my particular build, and wait until the Whitebeard is on 3 life, and then start attacking for 6, attacking for 6, attacking for 6, and then use blockers and cards in your hand to defend your characters in play. Don't use it to defend your life total. You're trying to race them. You're not trying to outvalue them. You're not trying to control their board as much, even though you can do that a little bit if they're attacking you early with their characters. Generally, Stagebeard doesn't do that, but it can happen. And this strategy has been the one I found the most success with. The second strategy I found is the load up Secret Rare Yamato and smack them strategy. With Kainomon, you can get a Secret Rare Yamato down on turn 2. On turn 3, I would put all 6 Dawn and attack Whitebeard for 11. This is disabling their card advantage engine because you're taking 2 of the life and putting it straight to the trash. And it's making them weaker so they have less time to set up a large board and then play a stage and attack you for 8K, 8K, 9K, 9K, 11K, and just kill you. Both these paths are good for this matchup. I find the former better than the latter, but this is just an example of understanding the matchups, and most decks you build will have this sort of branching path to victory, and even then there's probably more for a more difficult deck like Smoker. There might be 3 or 4 ways to win instead of just 2. Now there's probably 6 to 10 more steps with deck building. I'm gonna stop here at these first 5. This is kind of the most difficult subject I've covered in my opinion. There's a lot to this, and if anyone has insight or questions, I would love for y'all to comment on this video. I mean, there's just so much information. There's so much you can do. There's, in One Piece particular, there's so much in deck building. Guys, I'm telling you, there is just off the wall changes you can make to a deck, and it'll just increase your win rate like that. You can take a aggressive deck, retool it to control, and you might see your 0-2s, 0-3s, 0-4s turn into 4-0s like that. Don't just assume it's pilot error. A lot of times I do believe there's just deck building errors, And I think most people right now are improving at a steady rate, and I hope to continue that in the future because I love this game. I love to see it survive for another 10 years, and I want to go to every big tournament I can. Not gonna lie. I will see you there. If there's an in-person event, I will see you there. But that's the end of my Fundamentals Volume 3. This might end up being a two-parter. Please, guys, like, subscribe, and ask questions. Share with your friends. I love to interact with viewers. I love the comments. I get back to a lot of comments. If you have any more ideas you can add to this one, I would love to do a part 2 of deck building. I think there's so much to it. I hope One Piece lasts for at least 10 years. I'm gonna play this game, go to all the in-person tournaments. I'll bring my editor, we'll shoot some footage. And yeah, you can't tell I'm excited. I love this game. See y'all next time.